Hello, everybody. We're just getting connected and getting started here shortly. I kind of watch the waiting room for anybody else who jumps on.
All right, Jennifer, do you want to give people a few minutes, or should I go ahead and get started?
I think you can go ahead with the intro, and I'll keep watching the waiting room. We've got somebody jumping on right now, and here's one more. So we'll probably just the next minute or so, we'll probably have who we're going to have. So
okay.
Yeah, that looks good. I'm watching little notifications here. Hope everybody's having a good afternoon. Thanks for jumping on. We're gonna get going here just shortly. Whenever you're ready, Jordan.
Okay, can you see my PowerPoint?
We can see it.
Okay, great. So my name's Jordan Wagner. I work at the Ohio State University Nisonger Center. And there I coordinate what we call the technology project. So this is an umbrella project that has a few other project activities included within it. One of them being research. We first started this project in 2017, investigating remote support and promoting remote support, and then also investigating what kind of current and emerging technologies are available, what kind of technology solutions are available or will be available in the near future to support people with developmental disabilities. And then from there, we also started an annual conference, with the first one being in 2018. We've done one annually with the exception of the COVID years. Well, COVID year, 2020, we were able to do one in 2021 that was online. And each year, this conference called Tech Summit has been a 1 or 2 day conference with a focus on technology solutions. So we kind of curate presentations every year, invite people specifically who can speak to this space. And then we have the Smart Home Discovery Place. And the Smart Home Discovery Place is a home-like environment. It's designed that way to be a really concrete example of how technology solutions may work in someone's home, how someone may incorporate these technologies in their own home. And so that's why we're here today, is to go on a tour of technology solutions and also to introduce the Smart Home Discovery Place. So I'm starting here with this short presentation. And then from there, what I'll do is I'll take our robot and use its camera to kind of show you around the space. Okay, so this is kind of a bird's eye view map of the Smart Home Discovery Place. You know, you can see it's very home-like, and each of these bubbles represent different technologies. You know, and so this space is full of technologies, and when you see it, you know, I'm in it right now, you can see it behind me. It looks very home-like. These technologies don't stand out as anything very different from anyone's home. This project has been is made possible in collaboration with the companies here on the screen who have provided funding, have provided technology. We partner with the Assistive Technology of Ohio. They provide insight into how we can better this space. They provide technology for us as well as funding. And so in this space, we conduct tours, right? We're going on a tour today. That's kind of a generalized tour, but we also conduct customized tours. And so the way that we do that is on our website. You can go there. It's go.osu.edu. I'll put it in the chat, actually. It's go.osu.edu/Nisonger SHDP for Smart Home Discovery Place. And so from there, anyone can select the schedule a tour button. And this button will take someone to a website. And if you decide to take a tailored tour, then you can answer questions about yourself or someone for whom you're considering taking a tour. And then have a tailored tour that's tailored to the individual's specific needs, a 30-minute tour. And then from there, we can help anyone to get their questions answered and help to identify what's the next step. I found a technology that I think would benefit me. How do I put it into my home? Yeah, we can, if there's something that we can't help with, we can connect with organizations who can help or that can help. We can facilitate conversations with, with a family member, an individual, service and support administrator, anyone for whom you're really trying to communicate this vision for how technologies can interact in someone's home. And then we like to provide follow-ups as well, find out, were these technologies purchased? How are they working out? Things along those lines. And then we also conduct online tours like what you're on today. And this is the robot that we use. It's kind of a Segway with an iPad on top. And so if someone were to be taking a tailored tour, then they could navigate this robot on their own using their keyboard or their mouse. Alternatively, today, since there's so many of us on this call, I'll personally navigate the robot around this space. Yeah, and so we use the space to go through different technologies. Here on the left side of the screen, you see different categories for these technologies. We have an advisory committee of engineers, experts, professionals in the realm of developmental disabilities, networking engineers, and so we've sat down with this group and have curated a selection of technologies that really respond to needs that are common among individuals with developmental disabilities. And so these can be broken down into these four categories: is safety and security. So these are technologies that help someone remain safe. We'll go over some examples of those, but those could include devices that enhance security, like doorbell cameras or door locks, and could also enhance safety, things that send out messages if there's smoke detected in the home, sends out notifications, or can track the use of the stovetop. Independent living technologies, so technologies that help someone to do more on their own and need less help from other people. That could be cooking, doing chores, things along those lines. Health technologies, these are technologies that help someone to live a more healthy lifestyle and maintain their health goals. And there's remote support, which we'll talk about a little bit more later on. With many of these technologies, incorporated within them is the ability to remain accountable. Sometimes all that someone needs is someone helping them to be accountable to their goals, right? So someone has a goal that's written into their individual service plan to cook regularly. Someone from outside of the home can know how to help that person. Can know how often that person is cooking. Know about that person's medication adherence without having to be in the home personally, physically available, but instead getting updates electronically. And without infringing on the individual's privacy either. And then these technologies, as you'll see, are very customizable to what this specific individual needs. Okay, so now I'll transition to the remote tour portion of our time. And so I'm going to switch to a different screen. It means I'm going to have to turn off my camera for a moment. So I'll be right back with the right screen. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Oh, looks like, okay. I'll be right back. I think I'm gonna get kicked offline, but I need to do something in order to make the screen viewable. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep. I can
Okay,
hear
great.
you. Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, I apologize. Looks like we're having some trouble there. I'll get down to the bottom of it here. This happens when I am connected through our VPN.
Gotcha.
Okay, so hold on just a second. I'll figure this out. I'll be right back.
All right. Gotta love technology, right? Always makes me feel a little better when the experts have an occasional techie glitch.
Okay, again, sorry about that. I'm gonna try connecting one more time. And if that doesn't work, then I will use my laptop to do the presentation.
Okay.
To do the tour. There we go. Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, so I'm just controlling this using my keyboard here. You could see me sitting down my computer. Someone can also use the mouse. You could see the circle going along on the ground, and then it just navigates where you want it to go. And so you or anyone else who might want to go on a tour of this space, you're welcome to come in and try this out for yourself from wherever you are. And so let's go around the space, and I'll show you some of the technologies that are really commonly found to be helpful to people. This is our range. Okay, so this is a smart range. It has a voice assistant connected to it, so you can use your voice to set the oven temperature if you wanted to do that. But the two features that most people find really useful are, one, the induction stovetop. So the induction stovetop here it heats pots and pans magnetically. So I'll show you here, this burner does not have a pan on it. Oh, and I need to turn it on. Yeah, so this burner doesn't have a pan on it. So when I turn it on, it's not going to do anything. You can probably see here, there's red lights. So it's supposed to be on max temperature, but it's blinking because there's nothing on top. So that way, if someone turns on the wrong burner, or they have a piece of paper on the stove, or anything else that's flammable, it's not going to burn them. It's not going to start a fire. And then when a pan is put on it, you can kind of hear it whirring. Right, that's the pan itself being heated magnetically. So it's not the stovetop heating up, it's heating the pan directly, if that makes sense. And then, so when that heats up, the pan is still hot, and when you remove it, there's some residual heat, but the burner itself isn't on. So the burner is not going to keep heating up. Okay, but let's go ahead and heat up the pan. Let's turn on the oven. I can smell it, so I know it's getting hot. And so what we have up here is we have this white box called the iGuard stove. Okay, and this is it's a motion sensor that tells whether or not the oven or the stovetop have been occupied, whether or not there's someone standing in front of this monitoring it, okay? And perhaps you can see right here, this glowing box tells you how many seconds are left before it shuts down the range. So we have it set at 20 seconds for demonstration purposes, but going back to that concept of customizability, you can have this set for however much time the individual is safest in front of the stovetop. So you could set it for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, what have you. And this is very easy to set up. It's cloud-based, so anyone from anywhere who has password access to this application can go online, and they can change the settings as needed. So they could change the time that's used, and they could also turn on and off this function that allows you, say you're baking a pot roast or a cake or what have you. Then you can select this button, and it changes the timer from 20 seconds to however much time you want. In this case, I have it set at 1 hour, which I know is hard to see if you're using a laptop. So I'm going to move it back to the 20-second mark. Okay, now it's going to shut down after 20 seconds pass and it doesn't see anyone in front of it. So I'm going to cover the motion sensor with a sticky note so that it can't detect me. And now it's counting down, and it will beep loudly. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear it, but it'll beep loudly when it gets down to 10 seconds. Yeah, so it's warning someone, hey, the oven is about to shut down. Okay, There we go. So you could see all of the lights on the stove turned off completely. If you were using this in a home setting, you could turn off the stove and the oven and still keep the clock running. I have it set up to just shut everything down. It's a better demonstration that way. So you could see, the individual is at a reduced risk of fire because if the stovetop is unoccupied, it'll shut down completely. Okay, so let's move on to some other things. I'm going to reset the view of the camera here. And you know what, too? Maybe I can increase the size of this. There we go. That might be helpful. Okay. So let's navigate over here to where our microwave is. Okay, so I'll demonstrate next what we call a guided direction application. Okay, so the one that we're demonstrating today is called visual impact. I'm going to try to make it so you can see it. Please tap the topic you would like to view. So the iPad said, please tap the topic you would like to view. It uses voice commands to make this easily navigated. Okay, and you can get instructions for basically anything, including cooking. So if you're cooking a recipe, what you can do is you can upload instructions for completing that recipe, including instructions about how to safely use the stove or oven or microwave or whatever other kitchen tools are being used for the purpose of this activity, this cooking. Okay, and so the way that this works is you take videos and pictures and record your voice and take really complex tasks and break them down into small steps. So here's an example of using this to fill a hummingbird feeder and make hummingbird nectar. Fill hummingbird feeder. Okay, Jennifer, can you confirm, can you hear that at all?
Yeah, I heard it.
Follow these steps to make hummingbird nectar and then fill your hummingbird feeder.
Yep,
Okay, good.
I heard that. Mm-hmm.
Great. So, so these are pictures that I took at my own home. Instructions about making hummingbird nectar. Get the items shown in the picture below and place them on the table. Take the measuring cup and fill it with sugar. Add the sugar to the saucepan. So you could see it's really simple steps, right? I have this broken down into really small steps that are more easily understood than if I was just to tell someone make hummingbird nectar, or just mix the water, or just mix sugar in boiling water or something like that. This breaks it down into steps that are more digestible, more manageable. And on the screen here, you see 4 buttons. You see one that's next, right? So that takes you to the next step. Stop stops it completely and takes you back to the main screen. And then you have restart. So restart is, you're kind of lost. You need to start from the beginning. And then back will take you to the previous instruction. And so this is actually tracking what's going on while I use it. It's tracking how long it takes me to go from step to step to step. So someone can log into this application and see, okay, I know that this person is using this application for this purpose, be that cooking, cleaning, taking medicine or something along those lines. And they can say, how long is this taking the person? And are they quitting halfway through because they're getting lost in the set of instructions? And so this can help you understand what's going on with the individual. It helps you to understand, is this application working and helping the individual to live more independently? Let's check out another example here. The topic you would like to view. So this one is to take your blood pressure. Tap this button one more time to learn
begin. This is the blood pressure monitor that you will use to take your blood pressure. To begin, slide your left arm into the cuff as shown on the screen. Press the green next button on the computer with your right hand when your arm is in the cuff.
Okay, so you know, it's the same thing as what I was showing before, only this time it's video. So it's a simple task to take this and take pictures or record video of a task to help the individual have the instructions they need to do this on their own in the future. And you know, it's more privacy promoting than having someone there alongside them, prompting them, hey, remember, don't forget this step. You know, here's the next step, what have you. They can use this instead. And not only that, but the primary vision for this is that someone would, perhaps with the help of a caregiver or a support person, would take pictures of the individual completing these tasks and then recording their voice, so that instead of taking instructions from mom or dad or a direct support professional, they're taking instructions from themselves, and they're reminding themselves, this is a goal that I have that I want to do. So that's how the guided direction application works. Now let's talk about our microwave. So there's a few things that are special about this microwave. For one thing, you can take frozen meals and scan the barcode, and using the barcode scanner, the microwave can set itself for different temperatures or for different times and different settings, you know, whatever is needed to make the item. You just need to put it in and scan the barcode. However, barcode scanning using this application, it takes several steps. So many steps that that it's kind of a complex task. It also is compatible with our voice assistant though. So I'm gonna walk over to our voice assistant so that you can hear it in my microphone, I hope. And and if you watch that microwave there, you could see how it works. Alexa, microwave for 10 seconds.
The first oven door has been inactive for too long.
Okay, so the voice assistant is recognizing that the door has been shut. I haven't added anything in there in more than a day. And in fact, there's nothing in there. So I'm going to take a bowl of water. I'm going to put that in there. I don't think you're supposed to run microwaves without anything inside it. So let's just add some water in there. Okay. Alexa, microwave for 10 seconds.
Microwave for 10 seconds.
Okay, so you can see there, and I'll try to zoom in on that, but you could see that the microwave is, it just heated for 10 seconds based on my command, right? And so you can look at a frozen package, you can read the instructions, and then you can, you know, push the buttons on here, or you could tell the voice assistant to microwave for, you know, X amount of time. However, sometimes those instructions are hard to follow. You know, there's a lot of instructions there. It's a really complex task. And so, you know, I know of someone who, you know, she liked to make popcorn for a snack, and they told her, okay, just push the number 3, push start, and then you're good to go. However, she accidentally set the microwave, instead of for 3 minutes, set it for 33 minutes and 33 seconds, starting a fire in the microwave. So the support team got together and they said, how do we make sure this individual is safe? Well, what they decided was that they would have someone available in the home to help this individual microwave popcorn just in case she ever needed it. And that way, increasing her safety, you know, decreasing the likelihood that there would be a fire in the home, because someone would be monitoring and assisting as needed, whenever needed, for the microwave. And so it increased safety, but really reduced independence. And so it's as technology develops, I think that the proposition, the promotion of this whole tour, this whole smart home experience is to consider how can, as technology is advancing, how can this help someone to do more on their own and need less support from the physical presence of someone, from someone there assisting. And so one example would be to take popcorn and just program the voice assistant to, when you say make popcorn, heat for this long. Now, I'm sorry, I need to navigate away from that specific example and move on to the one that we actually have set up for demonstration right now, which is making chicken tenders. Maybe someone likes to make chicken tenders once a week. And so you can program the voice assistant to do what it needs to do to microwave chicken tenders. So if I say, Alexa, make chicken tenders.
Microwaving for 3 minutes, 37 seconds.
Yeah, so if it takes 3 minutes, 37 seconds to make these chicken tenders, the voice assistant is already set up to do that. Alexa, stop microwave.
Okay.
So the way that we did that is we created what's called a routine in the Amazon application. And in that routine, we said, okay, when I say this, translate it to mean this thing. So when I say make chicken tenders, translate it to microwave for 3 minutes and 37 seconds. And if that kind of thing is set up in advance, then someone doesn't need to worry about reading the instructions. You've taken a complex task and have made it digestible, simple, something that's capable of being independently done with just the individual without needing that support every time. Okay, you may have seen that trash can behind me opening up as I was talking. Sorry for the distraction. It does have a motion sensor on it, but it's actually voice activated. Open can. So it just opens when I tell it to. Okay, and then this is our bedroom here. Okay, and we have some technologies on display here, and I'll talk about some of those. So there on the far left, you see our smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Right there, and actually, I'm not going to zoom in because I'm going to pick them up. Here's an example of one. This is called First Alert. Okay, again, smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector. And so this is capable of being connected to other devices in the home. Okay, so I'm going to set up a situation so that we could see how this might help if there ever was smoke detected. Alexa, lock the front door. So you probably couldn't hear it, but the voice assistant said locking, hang on. Alexa, is the front door locked? Okay, the voice assistant just said my home front door is locked. Okay, so the front door is locked. It's probably hard to see from over there, but our thermostat here is set to cool. There's a little snowflake icon on top of it. And then let's see here. Yeah, I'm just gonna fix this. Okay. There, I had to move that to a different outlet. Alexa, turn off all lights. Okay, so maybe you could see that light there on the desk was turned off. And so when I simulate smoke with this, it's going to turn on all the lights in the smart home. It's going to change some of the colors of the lights. It's going to turn off the thermostat because your HVAC system sucks in air so that it can dispense air throughout the home. But if there's smoke, you don't want it sucking in smoke and then sending the smoke throughout the home. So it'll shut that down. And then it'll also send a notification to my home phone, letting me know that there was smoke detected at the smart home discovery place. Okay, so I'll demonstrate that now. I'll rotate this so you can watch me do it. I'll put that lamp in view. Okay. It might be a little bit loud, but I'm going to try to muffle the sound as much as possible. Okay, so you can see behind me, right there, that light changed from being off to being on. So that light came on. And then I'll take you around the space to see the other changes. That light, you can see it's a red light now, and it went from off to being on. It's kind of hard to tell on the screen there, huh? I should have like a white piece of paper. But it is red. Okay, so let's go into the living room. And you can see, okay, so that light came on too. And then that lamp over by the television, that is red now. And I'll ask our voice assistant about the lock. Alexa, is the front door locked?
Checking. Hang on. My home front door is unlocked.
Okay. I was just bending down to put my microphone up to it. Yeah, so the voice assistant confirmed that yes, the front door is locked. And then you're not able to see this from where you are, but here this thermostat reads off now. And I'll show you on my home phone. I received a message at 2:38 p.m. that says smoke detected at smart home discovery place. Yeah, so all of these things, put together, hopefully would create a safer environment if smoke ever was detected. Lights coming on so that you can navigate your way through the dark, through the smoke, red lights, because of the wavelength of red, from what I understand, makes it easier to see through smoke, which is why oftentimes you have exit signs are red so that you can navigate to that sign and see it through the smoke. And so these lights are also indicators of a situation not being safe in the home. And the other thing that's demonstrated here is that you can see multiple devices are working together, even from different platforms. Our lights are Philips Hue lights, and our thermostat, it's an Ecobee thermostat. The smoke detector is made by First Alert. So none of those companies are made by the same people, yet they're able to communicate together. And that's because we have them connected through our Samsung SmartThings hub. Okay, so let's move along here and look at some of the other technologies that we have on this dresser. Okay, this is our medication dispenser. And you can see it's plugged in. It's a chargeable medication dispenser, and it's small enough that you could take it with you pretty much anywhere. And I'll try to show you the screen here. Okay, it's hard to see when you're doing this remotely. Yeah, so you could see there for today, there's 2 medicines that need to be taken. And I'll show you how this works. So I'm going to dispense a little bit early. And it's going to rotate to the slot that is this robot is kind of shaking. Okay, yeah, so it rotated to this slot here, okay, because that slot is associated with this time of day on this day of the week. And so in order to indicate that it was taken, I just flip this, and now it says on the screen, it says dispensed, closing in 5 seconds. So you'll be able to see this close, right? So you could see it rotating there. So this automatically tracks when medication should be taken, so that, you know, maybe it reduces the need to have someone coming to the home to pass medication that day, or, you know, most days it has 14 slots. So maybe that means someone comes in once a week, or once every other week if they're taking a medication once a day. There are other versions of this. We're in the middle of a technology upgrade. So two more versions we're going to get. One of them is like this, but significantly larger. And instead of having this one just has a lid that you twist off and it's translucent, meaning you can see through the lid. The new one will also be circular in shape, but you'll need a key to access it, and it'll be opaque. So if there's a medication that can't have sunlight, it won't be able to, you know, sunlight won't be able to get into this. And also, instead of the top rotating, right? Well, okay, that's not what I want to say. This, as it rotates, it's open as it's rotating. So this is for someone who you can trust to take their medicine every day or not take the wrong medication. With this other one, you can only reach in and get the medication that is for that time. Similarly, there's another one that's more like a box, and it dispenses the medication out a slide at the bottom of the box. And so the other thing that's really great about these systems, these applications, this form of medication dispensing is that it also tracks medication adherence. I just want to adjust the screen a little bit here. Here we go. Yeah, so it tracks medication adherence, and so you can look back on a kind of like a spreadsheet, and you can see when was medication missed, when was it taken, and so this is helpful. You can tell whether or not the person is taking medication on their own. You can remind them to take it. You can also see if there's times that medication is regularly not taken and find out, okay, maybe Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Okay, that happens to be the individual's board game night or Netflix night or something. And so, you know, it's easy to forget to take your medication on that night. And so you can adjust maybe the person's schedule to adapt to, or adjust the person's medication to adapt to their schedule, something along those lines. Additionally, I'd like to say that this this sends notifications to someone, reminding them to take a medication, and also letting them know that if the medication has been missed. And I'll show you what that looks like. I'll just be right back. I left the phone. Oh, it's here. Okay, so I'll just open up my messages here. Okay, and I made this text really pretty large. Okay, that's a lot of words there in that text. But essentially what it's saying is that this person has 90 minutes left to take their medicine. And then it says you have 1 hour left, and then only 30 minutes left. And then it looks like that medication was taken, but here we go. This one says missed medication from compartment B. Okay, so it tells you which medication was missed. And so those notifications can be sent to someone inside of the home. They can also be shared with someone outside of the home or both. So that way the individual is reminded and someone is helping that person stay accountable to their goals, their goal of taking medicine independently. Okay, so let's move on. Looks like we have 10 minutes left. I want to see at this point, is there any questions on what we've covered already? I'll stop for a few minutes to answer questions. All right, well, if you do have questions, write them down, save them. There'll be some more time at the end, and I can stay a little bit after too. Okay, so here we have a sleep tracker. This sleep tracker, the vision for that is maybe you could use it to monitor someone's sleep and see whether or not that's something that changes depending on what medication the person's on. You can also use this and connect it to an application called If This Then That, and that makes it so that you can connect it to other devices. So maybe you can have it so that when you get out of bed, the lights turn on to reduce the risk of falls. And I used to use that demonstration a lot. However, I think there's better technologies out there if you really want to reduce the risk of falls. I'm going to use it today to just as a visual to demonstrate that there are sensors you can put in the bed to tell if the bed's occupied. Okay, and so why is that helpful to tell whether or not someone is laying in bed? Well, if you want to help someone stay on their routine, maybe it's someone, if they get off the routine, then that's when anxiety kicks up. That's when behaviors start. And so for many individuals, staying on routine is really important to their well-being. And so, you can use sensors throughout the home, one of which being a bed sensor. If the individual has a goal to get out of bed by a certain time, even without anyone being there, you can remind them, okay, hey, it's 9:30. You have a goal to be out of your bed by 9, something along those lines. And, let's continue this thought going back into the other room. Oh, okay, I went the long way around. Okay, so behind the microwave here, you'll see a little white square. Okay, this is a motion sensor. So you can put a motion sensor in the kitchen to tell when the kitchen's been accessed. Alexa, it's all safe. It changes our lights back to normal. And so here, you'll be able to see, when I open this up, you'll see a little white box here. Okay, this is a sensor that determines if this door is open or closed. And you can see when I opened it, the iPad kicked on. It just got a notification saying the door was open. Okay, so you can see whether or not that cabinet is being accessed. Looks like I'm taking the long way around again. And then we also have that same sensor on our window here. See if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. You can probably see that. So the sensor is right here. I'm actually going to put this laptop down. I don't need that. Yeah, the sensor is right here. And when I open it up, you'll see it's very quickly sending information out. Okay, so it's gonna, that light there is gonna change to blue because the window is open. And if I cause some vibration while the window is open, it'll change to green. So with that kind of information together, maybe you could tell someone is maybe trying to break in through the window. It senses, vibration. It only changes to green when both things happen, when it's open and it senses vibration, which is helpful because that reduces false positives, right? It reduces the risk of someone being notified just because there's vibration. But if the window is open and there's vibration, then maybe you could tell someone's climbing into the window or something like that. And then on the door, you can see at the top of the door here, there's a sensor there. Okay, so what do these sensors do? They provide a view of what's going on in the home. So you could tell when the front door has been accessed. You can tell when a window is open. You can tell when someone's walked into the kitchen, whether or not they're still in their bed. You can tell whether or not there's moisture that's been detected. So this little box here can detect if there's a leak under the sink. And then there's other types of sensors, one that will detect humidity. So maybe going back to the routine example, someone has a routine to get out of bed by 9 o'clock, get in the shower by 10 a.m. So you can put one of these on the shower door, or you can put a humidity sensor in the shower so that you could tell when the shower is running. You could put one of these in the restroom medicine cabinet, if that's where the toothpaste and toothbrush are kept. And then you could tell if the toothbrush has been accessed. There's other sensors that'll let you know if something has been picked up. So if someone's picked up the toothbrush, you can get a sensor that tracks that data. You want to tell, is someone accessing healthy food? You could put healthy food in a cabinet and then put sensors on that cabinet, right? Like our example here, this is where we keep our orange. And so you can use your sensors to tell how often that's being accessed. And then we had the motion sensor on top of the oven. This also tracks how often the oven's been shut down and how often it's accessed. So if someone has a goal in their individual service plan to cook once a week, you can go back and look and see if the stovetop has been accessed once a week. You can get really creative. Consider the needs of individuals in your life and consider whether or not technology can meet those needs. So you can set up sensors like this on your own. All of the technologies here are ones that could be purchased at Best Buy or on Amazon.com. Can be purchased very easily. None of them are specially designed for anyone, but many people don't have the availability to support someone in that way and check what's going on in the home all the time. And so in Ohio, there's actually an option to do this professionally using sensors, much like the ones that I've demonstrated today. Someone can, from the outside looking in, support someone to meet their goals professionally, just like a direct support would, except in having staff in the home. This is staff remotely located from outside of the home. So I'll give an example that with some of our remaining time. While I pull this up, has anyone had any questions they've thought of yet?
There's a couple in the chat here, Jordan.
Oh, okay, great.
I could read them off, or unless you can see them too.
I can see them. Okay. So if smoke is detected, is 911 called? I don't have it set up to call 911. I mean, so someone could find a way to do that. Personally, I wouldn't want 911 to be called every time smoke's detected. You know, if someone burnt chicken on the stovetop, you know, or you know, I had someone over at my house and they were cutting up one of my stairs and the smoke alarm went off. You know, and so often they go off in very safe situations. I would prefer to get a notification before 911 is called, but I suppose that I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I would have to think about how to make that happen. What is the cost of each item? Well, Michelle, I'm not sure if there's an item that you're interested in. I could look up the price for that item. Some of the items I could tell you. So the iGuard stove, which is the white box on top of the range, that could be retrofitted to any range, about any range. And that is like a $200 item. The microwave that we have is closer to $300. But if your only interest is to use it for the voice assistant functionality, then there is a $40 Amazon Basics one. The range is $3,000, but the range has the voice assistant on it. It has other smart functionality. I get notifications on my phone when it hasn't been used in a long time. I can, from my phone, set the temperature and things like that. If you're just looking for the induction stovetop, you know, that's going to cost less. This is more because of all of its smart functionality. The pillbox you purchase based on a subscription, and I'm not sure off the top of my head how much the subscription is. And then the smoke alarm isn't much. You know, there's, if you get the Nest smoke alarm, it's like $150, $200. But the first alert is significantly less than that. And if anyone's interested, then I can look up the price a little bit later on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can let me know if there's any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and try to send a request to our remote support. And I noticed that we're right at 3 o'clock. So Jennifer, is it okay if I keep going and whoever needs to log off can?
Absolutely.
Or is there another way you'd like to go about that?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys can stay on, feel free. If you need to go, we understand. So yeah, go ahead and show us what you got, Jordan.
Okay. So we have had some problems here. We'll see if we can get this to work. Okay, it's calling now. I'm probably going to take my headset off and hold it right up to the speaker here when someone picks up, because I know it's hard to hear with this headset on. Okay, it looks like maybe that's going to cause us some trouble. Maybe someone will call back in a second, but I'll tell you how it works, okay? So this is something that's very similar to Zoom. You know, just like right now, you're from a computer remotely connecting with me. That's how this works, okay? I would call them and then they would be sitting at a call center, or actually often some of them are sitting at home and responding to my initiation. Now, with the sensors throughout the home, you noticed when the window opened, the light changed on the lamp. when I opened up the cabinet, sent a notification to the iPad. It's very similar for remote support. They receive these notifications. And so they're only responding in response to the notifications that they've received. Here's someone's calling us back. All right, it's going to give us problems here. But yeah, so this is all set up specific to someone's individual service plan. So if it's in someone's plan to do a specific thing, I gave the idea earlier of using the stovetop. You can come up with creative solutions for how to meet that goal. We have this camera here next to the stove, so someone there might be able to use a camera just to help that person cook remotely. And then you don't need to have someone in the home for those situations. There's always going to be a need to have people in the home. And so this is a service that's really for people who would benefit and be able to have that kind of extra privacy. And that way, those staff who are available to support someone in person can go to those who actually need to have someone there in person. Many people can benefit just from having someone available on a remote basis. If not all of the time, then for some of the time. I think some of the time is a good way to start. One way is to only have this service available at nighttime. There's a lot of people out there that use a service called OSOC, on-site, on-call. And so this is where someone stays overnight at someone's house just in case something happens. These are really great situations to start the use of remote support. Instead of having someone sleeping on the couch, using that individual's television, they can contact the remote support agent as needed. Or the remote support agent can be notified when there's a need, when someone exits the bed, when someone enters the kitchen, anything along those lines. Okay, and then lastly, since it looks like that demonstration isn't going to work today, I'll show another example of technologies functioning together. Alexa, turn on night mode. So the voice assistant said locking, and the door locked. So this is maybe when someone's going to bed. You can turn off all the lights, lower the blinds, lock the door, very similar to what we did with the smoke detector. These technologies can all function together. Okay, so with that kind of concludes our demonstration, unless there are any specific technologies someone wanted to see that we did not talk about today. So are there any other questions before we sign off?
Anybody have anything? Feel free to speak up. Yeah, this has been great. I would love to have all of those in my house. Very cool.
Yeah, well, thank you all for your time. If you can think of someone in your life who may be interested in learning about how technology solutions can benefit them, please sign up on our website. I put in the chat there, go.osu.edu/Nisonger SHDP. That's the website for the Smart Home Discovery Place. You could see other examples of technology there. And I'm going to ask Jennifer to send each of you a survey link. We'd love to hear about what went well, what we could improve on, help us to make this space something that would really benefit you. So again, thank you for your time, and be in touch with any questions. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jordan. This was great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a good afternoon. And I'll talk with Sarah and we'll send out certs for our providers. So thank you for being here today. All right, bye.